You are so highly blessed. You are so highly honored. This is another Sunday. We've been together in this lockdown for some time now. Today, I want us to talk about living in these times of distress. Living in times of distress. So, I want us to read from the book of Psalm 74, verse 9. It says, "We no longer see miraculous signs. There are no prophets anymore. No one knows how long this will last." We see no longer miraculous signs. And then there are no more prophets, and no one knows how long will this thing last of this COVID. So the first thing is that we see not our signs. There are signs that have made us to enjoy to be called the children of God. Our coming together as a church, we don't see our church door anymore. We don't see the presence of God where we used to see it in the house of God. We were so used to preaching, worshiping the Lord today, like Sunday, this time, coming together. When the Bible says how blessed it is for children of God coming together. And when we are coming together, we start to worship. God releases power into the environment. But now that we are no longer worshiping, we are no longer coming together, we don't see that presence of God, the signs that were there. We are lacking. We desire to see those supernatural manifestations which were happening, those prophetic words, those manifestations happening within our services. But now they are gone. We don't see them. It is over 6 weeks. Now the 8th week, we don't come together. And we don't know how long will this thing last. What happened? Because of this lockdown has hidden every good thing that we have, everything that we know as a church. Now we are frustrated. Everybody is frustrated. And because of that, there is this coldness. There is this lukewarmness. People are so lukewarm. Why? Because the evidence of the presence of God is no longer felt among them. People are becoming more discouraged. And what we see, rather seeing the presence of God, we see a foreign power, which is called COVID-19, has taken over. Our speech, our prayers had to do with COVID-19. Nobody's talking about God's goodness, what God will do. All those things have been forgotten. Our mind had been zeroed in. I think the enemy has come to a place where he said, if I can make them to zero in on this COVID so that they can forget their God. And that is where these people say, our signs, we don't see our signs anymore because of coming together. Because what they used to see, it says such miracles were fashioned to support the faith of God's people when they were in distress. When in this distress, we expect God to come and do so. Those miracles were there to show us that deliverance is coming. There is hope behind this tunnel. So now these signs of the worship, praising God, were the signs to indicate that the presence of God is here among us. But these miracles and these things, they have ceased to happen. Check what I wrote here. I put this thing. I said our church services are interrupted due to what? To this virus and this lockdown. This lockdown is affecting us in a big way. And then the signs of the latter days are upon us, but you don't see it. These are the signs of the latter days, but you don't see. Maybe we are not aware that we have entered the last days. Season is here with us. So the results, I wrote something. When you read this, Matthew 16 verse 3, it says, Matthew 16 verse 3, it says, but if the sky is red and gloomy in the morning, you say it is going to rain. You can tell what the weather will be like by looking at the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the time. So we cannot discern. As children of God, we are supposed to discern the times we are living in. The result, there is no life. There is no more forward looking towards Sunday service. And next thing I said, the signs of this thing, it shows that, the question comes, what's going to happen to us? Because we are so used to staying home. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I'm just asking God what's going to become of us. There is a verse I want to read here. It says, Psalm 63 verse 2 says, I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. David said, when I came to the house of God, I saw your power. I saw your glory. But now, when we don't go to the house of God, we don't meet together as the brethren, then the Bible says, how will we see the glory of God? How will we see this glory shining in our community? How will we see the power of God manifesting in us? Because we don't meet anymore. And that's the challenge. So the question of the hour here, I have 3 questions that we must ask when we are there at home. The first question, will there be church after this lockdown? Will there be church after this lockdown? And what type of a church shall it become? Will the church be relevant after this lockdown? And in closing, what type of a church are we going to have after this lockdown? Just consider yourself and ponder around those questions, and God will help you. Now, the second thing says, there is no more any prophet. There are more prophets anymore. You see, now the signs are no longer there. Prophets, where are they? The verses say they are no longer there. No one, in the Old Testament, no, the Bible says God will raise up a special messenger to assure the people what God is about to do in a distress situation, in a storm. And we need a prophet that God will raise a prophet to take the nation out of the trouble. But now you look, we don't have a prophet who can take this nation out of the trouble, or the nation of the earth out of the trouble. The prophets we thought they are no longer there, because God doesn't speak to them. God doesn't give them vision and revelation and dreams. So when God doesn't speak, that divination will never work, because it needs God to speak to them. Now the next thing it says, in times of danger, God has been accustomed to send to them some special teacher who will declare his will, direct the nation what to do. God will send a special teacher to teach them how to move out of this trouble. And he will say the deliverance is coming. He will assure them about the deliverance that is coming. But now we don't have that. And then lastly say, they saw no such messenger of God now in that situation. It's like us. Do we see any prophet coming? Nothing. All of them, they are quiet because it was fashionable. Because people like to call themselves titles which they are not called for. So we need real prophets in this time. I want to close with this way. Our prophets have no answer to this situation. There are no God's vision and dreams that are given to these prophets. Therefore, God is silent. So it means all of us, we have to seek our God and hear from God. Maybe because we're depending so much on this prophet. Now is the time to depend upon yourself and your God. This is the right time to seek for your God. Start to have a relationship. Start to have that special encounter with your God. That God can speak to you and you can understand the signs that you are living in. The last thing, he said, listen to this verse, say, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. No one knows how long will this disaster stand before us. This virus is here. We are locked down. How long this COVID-19 calamity is going to continue, and then no one can tell when it's going to end. Even the ministers can't tell us. The last thing said, the prophetic office seems to have ceased to function in these days. Maybe this thing can last until the end of December, not meeting, not coming together as a church. When are we going to reach stage 1? Nobody can tell. Can be maybe next year. So we must think of how we are going to run church now. So I'm saying this COVID, it has made us here to reveal our sleepiness. That as a children of God, we are very sleepy. And we have mastered, the funniest thing, we have mastered the sign of business. We can tell what the business, what the economy will look like if this thing happens. But we have missed to look and discern the times that we are living spiritually. That's why we are frustrated. We are all frustrated and angry about this situation because no one prepared us. No one warned us that such thing is coming our way. We look at 2020 as a great year, a year of double portion. This is a double portion of stress, double portion of trouble around us. But behind that, it tells you that Greater things are coming. The blessing that God is going to release, the supernatural manifestation is going to be higher than what it was. You know, they say when a building, they want to build a tall building, they dig so deep, down low, because of what they wanted to hold on. Even as we are going so deep, we are frustrated so deep because our faith is going to rise up to a great level. So let me close with this following words. I said here, when these signs happen, we must remember that God is about to do something great. This virus has caught the church napping. Now the verse says, now I want to read the verse. It says now, let me read this verse, First Chronicles 12 verse 32. And of the children of Issachar, men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. This is what we need. We need men who understand our training time. We need people who will say to South Africa, this is what you must do. That's what we are looking for. We need the spirit of the children of Issachar so that we can direct this nation as the children of the living God, not to be in despair like other people, because we have God who is our hope and our deliverer. How believers in Christ we must look at this, how as children of God are we benefiting out of this COVID-19 and lockdown, spiritually, physically, mentally, and socially. There must be benefits. Don't say there are no benefits, there are benefits. This thing is helping big time. And there are two verses to close with. Say in Isaiah 52, verse 2 and verse 3, say, Jerusalem, wake up. Let's say South Africa, wake up. Stand up and be strong, you holy city. Dress in your best clothes. Those foreigners who ruin your sacred city won't bother you. This COVID, which is foreign to us, is going to come to an end. We must take our position. We must wear our royal clothes so that we can give command, give direction. We must not be like people who are locked forever, but as children of God, we must give hope. We must speak in our SMS, in our WhatsApp group. We must give hope, not distraction. Amen. Then the verse 3 says, shake thyself from the dust. Arise, sit on thy throne, O Jerusalem. Loosen thyself from the bonds of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. So God expects us in this time to shake ourselves, to shake the dust in us. This is the right time to shake your dust. Shake your dust, it means change your mindset, change the way you are seeing things, change your perspective, change the way you believe. But now we must see God the way who God is, not through others, but see God through your own self. Have a special encounter with God. Don't allow this general revelation, but have a specific revelation that God has given to you. That you have that special relationship, special favor with God, special way of doing. You have an access to God. You don't need somebody to give you that access. Christ at the cross gave you an access to enter into the throne room of God. I want to challenge you. Never give up your faith. Never look down at yourself. This will pass, and it will pass. You are going to be the best student of faith, student of hope. Why? Because this thing has sharpened you. Now, I'm close and say, these are the times of shake-ups, times of what? Waking up to a new dawn. Be shaken and be awake from your sleep, O sleeper, for the days has come, for your dawn has risen. God bless you.